Well, welcome to Betfred's preview show, and of course it is all about the big occasion in Vegas. It is Wilder against Fury 2, and I'm delighted to be joined by former WBA lightweight champion of the world, Anthony $1 Million Crolla. And Anthony, I don't think that ever gets tired, does it? Here you mentioned as a world champion, you'll have that every time.
Yeah, I'll take it, but no, good to be here with you, Dan.
Now the big fight.
Yes.
And again, you know, we talk about big fights a lot, and it's a wider sporting occasion, this one. The big boys tend to become crossover, and these two certainly are. Yeah. How many times have you changed your mind about what's going to happen on February the 22nd?
A good dozen. I think I'm stick with the opinion that I'm going to give shortly. But it is, I think I keep changing my mind because, for one, reason, the power that Deontay Wilder carries. Again,
it's the same thing everyone's saying, obviously the big right hand of Wilder, Fury, the boxer, the mover.
Yeah.
We remember what happened, obviously, in that first fight. He was down twice, still felt he'd done enough to win the fight, didn't get the nod, obviously it's a draw. When you look back at that now, did Fury convincingly win that fight, or we got a bit carried away?
I think so. Listen, I think he was very unlucky not to get the decision. It's, going into that, I think what happened is, because of the drama of that 12th round, Tyson getting up from that knockdown, it's, I think people sort of forgot how bad of a decision it was. I think it was a pretty bad decision, to be honest. But it's, what it did do, for an heavyweight fight, because obviously, listen, heavyweight's the big division. That's the division where the most money generated, sort of, like you mentioned there, the crossover names tend to come from the heavyweight. The heavyweight champion of the world's some status, isn't it? It's, but a lot of the times, the big heavyweight fights don't deliver. This certainly delivered. And we just want to know whether the rematch is going to be as good. And I think that's why there's so many people looking forward to, not just to see if Tyson can keep it at range and, keep Deontay Wilder at the end of his punches, or whether Wilder's going to land one of those big right hands that he often does. That's what makes it so exciting.
Do you believe Tyson, and you know him well enough, do you believe him when he's saying he's going to go in there to knock him out?
No, I don't. I really hope that it's just part of it. It's because if he does, then my opinion on who I think wins changes.
So if he goes in there as open as he's saying he's going to be, to try and stick one on Wilder, and he's going to stop him in the second round, he's been saying, anyone that will listen, he's been telling them that. You don't see him doing that ever.
No, not at all. And I think a lot of that is kidology. And to be honest, I don't know how much kidology it is, because I think anyone in boxing, there's next to no one who believes that's what will happen. I think we all know Tyson's strength is his boxing brain, his ring craft, and that's what he's got to do. And listen, he's shown the way to beat Deontay Wilder, and that's what I believe he's got to do again on Saturday night. There's no denying who the better boxer is, and there's no denying who the bigger puncher is. So it'd make absolutely zero sense for Tyson to stand there looking to get rid of Deontay Wilder early, when the way to beat him, the blueprint, he's already shown us. I know he didn't get the decision, but it was pretty clear to see who the better man was that night.
But he's saying that in that first fight, he didn't have the stamina to finish the job. He didn't believe he wasn't fit enough, because we'd had the 10-stone weight loss, the 2 easy fights, and then he jumps in with Wilder, and now he's saying he's properly strong, properly fit, and he's changed trainers, which is one that took everyone by surprise. 7 weeks out from the fight, he then says, I'm going with the Kronk, with Javon Sugar Hill, because he's going to teach me how to knock this guy out. I mean, what's that all about?
I just hope that's not the case where he's going to think is, I think people see a lot of fighters from the Kronk, the obvious one, Tommy Hearns, sort of tall, lanky punchers. I hope that it doesn't, that's not sort of the game plan, what Tyson's going to go with. And again, I don't believe that's what they'll send him in with. I know Andy Lee's part of the team, and Andy Lee, I think, is someone who's got amazing knowledge of the game. I know he's just started being a coach himself, and I imagine he'll be an amazing coach. Being around your Emmanuel Stewart, unbelievable amateur, in the Irish boxing team, great setup, great coaches. And I'm pretty certain that him and Sugar Hill, that they won't be they won't be sending him out there with the tactics looking to drill Deontay Wilder with a big right hand. I'm pretty sure they're going to have him moving his feet, and I think that's what he has got to do. You mentioned his body shape, or he did, and yeah, I think he does look better. He looks more like an heavyweight. Yeah. He looks more like an heavyweight now. I was saying, I'll be honest, the first Wilder fight I was worried because I was thinking he looked like someone who'd just lost so much weight. And I know his father John, he commented on that saying he didn't look like a boxer, and he didn't. But obviously, credit's got to go to Ben Davidson as well. You know, he come up with the plan, and they had a great time together. So it was a controversial decision for him 7 weeks out to change trainers, to change training teams as well. But Tyson's his own man; he always has been, and he'll do what's best for him.
You've just, I think, made a very valid point there, because speaking to guys that know Tyson and that have been in camp with Tyson, I've been speaking to fighters that have spent a lot of time with him. Now, they pretty much all said the same thing, that Peter Fury was probably the only person that had any kind of control.
Yeah, definitely.
Tyson's otherwise his own man, so anyone could train him because he pretty much does his own thing.
Without a doubt, he respected Peter. I'm not saying he didn't respect men or...
It's a different kind of,
different
Ben
kind of
Davison's younger than Tyson for a start.
Of course, and it's the family thing, and you could say sort of the old, traveller's tradition where, you respect your elders. I know that's not just with them, but like he had immense respect for Peter, where if he wasn't a certain weight, he was scared of not being a certain weight that Peter wanted for him, because he was worried Peter wouldn't train. I remember speaking to him before the Klitschko fight, and unbelievably disciplined for a big guy under his uncle Peter. And that's always been, the question since he left him, was Ben. But again, you've got to give Ben credit, because he did do a good job in the fights that he was with Tyson. It wasn't, you'd have people having digs saying, is he a yes man, is he this, is he that? Well, whatever it was, Tyson put in some great performances under him. So now we've just got to see now with the old Kronk team how it looks. But I don't believe for 1 minute he's going to come out looking, to take centre of the ring and looking at the right hand. Might be wrong, he might shock us all. He's shocked us all before, but I believe he'll look, and this is what I'd be telling him to do, box on that back foot, make Wilder fall short, because Wilder's a pretty crude heavyweight. He's an unbelievable puncher, but his skill set's not the best, that's for sure, but he relies on that one big shot, and that's something he's got.
I think he kind of almost wants to forget his skills, doesn't he? He's a bronze medalist at the Olympics. This is a guy that can box.
Yeah.
But he has been reliant. And let's face it, if you've had 43 fights, 42 wins and 41 by way of KO, I mean, Fury's one of only two men to have gone the distance. The other one, Stavern, got flattened second time around.
Yep.
So his power is quite clearly frightening. And that's what he just sticks to. His boxing goes out the window in many ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, I saw something recently where he was on about the Luis Ortiz fight, where he was saying, I was looking for that shot for 3 rounds. I'm not sure about that. He was getting the ears boxed off him, but I do believe that he always had that belief where it's only going to take one shot, and it did. It was one of the best knockouts we've seen in recent years. He did, without a doubt. And by the way, I think Ortiz is a quality fighter, and I think that's the kind of fight going into Tyson that you'd want. Someone on the move, good ring craft, technically very good, and I do believe, I know they're different, but I do believe it's a good fight for him.
So Tyson's got to concentrate for every second of every round and box his way, but he keeps saying as well he cannot trust the decision. That's why he's talking about the KO. But if he makes it convincing and doesn't hit the canvas twice like he did last time, then he will get the decision.
Of course he will. It's listen, bad decisions are a part of boxing. They're a part of all sport. And last time out was a bad decision, but if Tyson goes out
on
there,
the judges, he should get a fair shake, shouldn't he?
He will do, and I think because of the controversy first time round, he's got to. I don't think they can do it to him twice. But I think, like I say, he's got to stick to his strengths and fight his fight to do that. And I think there's very few people out there who think Tyson will do it inside the distance, but we'll see.
One other thing that it hasn't been overlooked, but a lot of chat about knockouts and this, that, and the other, and Wilder, but that cut.
Yes.
In the Otto Wallen fight.
Well,
he's had plastic surgery on that. Now, if you're Deontay Wilder, you're looking for that, surely.
Of course you are. I got asked about this, and my opinion is, it's a terrible cut, but And you could argue, well, you don't really want to be taking shots off anyone in the heavyweight division, but I don't believe it'll come into effect, because I think if Deontay Wilder is landing often enough to open up a cut, make a mess, it'll be over, because he don't want to be taking a shot. You don't want to take a shot, whoever you're in with, but Tyson wants to take as little shots as possible with a puncher like him. You know, if you're letting him land, it doesn't matter how good your chin is. If Deontay Wilder's landing more than often, you know, more than he should be, you're going to go over.
So, quite simply, what happens?
My prediction is a Tyson Fury win on points. However, I wouldn't be surprised if he touches down. And for me, the perfect, if I was in Tyson's corner, it'd be like, I wouldn't mind him getting clipped. When I say clips, and that's what I do mean, that's all Deontay Wilder has to do. But just sort of a flash knockdown early on, because then that makes Tyson so alert and, you know, react to everything.
Incredible recovery skills, isn't it?
Yeah, incredible recovery skills, but I don't believe, listen, when you still can't believe watching the second knockdown of the first fight back, but I'd be surprised if we ever see anything like that again. Yeah. Whereas I wouldn't be surprised if he touches down in the first 3 rounds and then Tyson's just super switched on. Anything that's coming his way, he pokes, dances, and wins 12 rounds. It might not be the most exciting fight, certainly not the frills and spills of the first fight, but I think we'll see him box very well, but box very smart, and a Tyson Fury win on points.
And then are we going to see the trilogy then? Are we going to see fight number 3?
I think we probably would, you know, it all depends
how it pans out.
Like I said, if it goes in the way where it might not be frills and spills of the first fight, we might not do. But we'll see. I think it seems to be selling well. It's out in Vegas, you know, 2 huge names in the sport. If it's a success and it is an entertaining fight, then yeah, I'm pretty sure we will see the 3rd fight.
Here on Betfred, Anthony Crolla says it is Fury on points.